That Wednesday card was wild, but we're looking at a tame Thursday slate. We have just 5 games to discuss, but the nightcap should be fascinating. We have a ton to discuss, so let's go ahead and dive into this Thursday card. Core plays Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, PG, SG. OKC, $10,200 DraftKings. $11,000 FanDuel. SGA struggled in a back-to-back earlier in the week, but this is still one of the best players in the NBA.
Before that, Gilgeous-Alexander had at least 45 DraftKings points in 23 of his previous 24 games, generating a 59-point average in that span. He also had at least 50 DK points in 19 of those and should have his way with Utah.
The Jazz ranked 22nd in points allowed while surrendering the 6th most fantasy points to opposing guards. In their 4 matchups since the start of last season, SGA is averaging 57 DK points per game.
Jalen Brunson, PG, NYK, $8,500 DraftKings, $8,900 FanDuel. There's a chance JB won't play, but we love him if he does. The Knicks guard has scored at least 38 DraftKings points in 15 of his last 16 games, totaling a 46-point average in that span.
That should be his floor against a woeful team like Washington, ranked last in points allowed and defensive efficiency. We've also seen JB score at least 46 DK points in 5 of his 6 meetings with the Wizards since the start of last season.
Cash game considerations: Domantas Sabonis, PF, C. SAC. $10,000 DraftKings, $10,300 FanDuel. Not enough people are talking about how special Sabonis has been over the last month. The big man has a triple-double in 9 of his last 16 games, averaging nearly 55 DraftKings points per game in that span.
That's the best stretch this All-Star has ever had, and it should continue against Indiana. Not only is it a revenge game for Domas, but the Pacers play at the fastest pace in the league while sitting 29th in total defense.
Julius Randle, PF, C. NYK, $8,800 DraftKings, $9,000 FanDuel. The Wizards have been a wonderful matchup all season, and we want to use these Knicks studs against them. Randle is just that, averaging 46 DraftKings points per game across his last 24 fixtures.
We can't overlook that against the worst defense in the NBA, surrendering the 3rd most fantasy points to opposing power forwards. In their 2 matchups this year, Randle is averaging 30.5 points, 7.0 rebounds, and 6.5
assists per game. Nikola Vucevic, C. Chi, $7,500 DraftKings, $8,000 FanDuel. Vucevic has been incredible since returning from an injury. The big man has at least 37 DraftKings points in 4 of his last 5 fixtures, showcasing a 60-point upside just 2 games ago.
That's what we want to see from the Chicago center, and he should have success against a Toronto team that is missing half of their roster. They're allowing the 9th most fantasy points to opposing centers this season as well.
GPP targets Xavier Tillman, PF, C. Mem. $5,500 DraftKings, $6,300 FanDuel. It's been a nightmarish season for Memphis with all of the injuries, but it's forced Tillman into a prominent role. This team is missing Morant, Smart, Adams, and Bane, allowing X to play 30 to 35 minutes a night.
In this expanded role, Tillman has scored at least 36 DraftKings points in 3 of his last 4 games. Minnesota can be a tough matchup, but Tillman needs to play significant minutes to oppose guys like Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns.
Alex Caruso, PG, SG, Chi, $5,600 DraftKings, $5,700 FanDuel. Caruso misses many games because of numerous ailments, but it's because he always plays so hard. That's why we love him when he's healthy, averaging nearly 30 DraftKings points per game as a starter.
This guy should be above $6,000 if he's going to play 30 minutes as a starter, and we love that AC had 42 DK points in a matchup with the Raptors earlier in the season. Value plays Isaiah Hartenstein, PFC, NYK, $6,700 DraftKings, $7,700 FanDuel. We weren't sure who would start at center once Mitchell Robinson went down, but Hartenstein has been incredible since taking over his job.
The big man has been playing 35 to 40 minutes as the starting center, scoring at least 33 fantasy points in 7 of his last 8 outings. He's flirting with a 40-point average in that span and should wallop this horrid Wizards defense.
When they played 2 weeks ago, Hartenstein had 44 fantasy points. Emmanuel Quickly, PG, SG, Tor, $7,000 DraftKings, $7,600 FanDuel. We just wanted to see IQ get a full workload, and we're finally there. Since the trade, Quickly has been playing 30 to 35 minutes a night as the Raptors' starting point guard.
That's all we wanted, with IQ scoring at least 31 DraftKings points in 7 of his first 8 games in Toronto. Look for him to do even more with Pascal Siakam being shipped off to Indiana. Vince Williams, SG, Mem, $6,100 DraftKings, $6,500 FanDuel. We just discussed how many injuries this Memphis team has suffered, and it's turned Williams into the primary playmaker.
The versatile forward has been the Grizzlies' best ball handler, scoring 44 and 45 DK points in his 2 most recent outings. We love how this kid stuffs the stat sheet, and he'll need to keep doing it with every important Memphis player missing for a significant amount of time.
You might be worried about the blowout potential, but this sophomore has to play 35 minutes with how short-handed the Grizzlies are right now. Advantageous pricing. Isaiah Hartenstein, PFC, NYK, $6,700 DraftKings, $7,700 FanDuel. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, PG, SG, OKC, $10,200 DraftKings, $11,000 FanDuel. Xavier Tillman, PFC, Mem, $5,500 DraftKings, $6,300 FanDuel. Andre Drummond, C. Chi, $5,100 DraftKings, $6,200 FanDuel. Lauri Markkanen, PF, Utah, $8,300 DraftKings, $9,100 FanDuel. John Collins, PF, C. Utah, $5,500 DraftKings, $6,300 FanDuel. Isaiah Jackson, C. IND, $4,200 DraftKings, $5,800 FanDuel. Jarache Walker, PF, IND, $3,600 DraftKings, $5,600 FanDuel. Anthony Edwards, SG, SF, Min, $8,400 DraftKings, $9,300 FanDuel. Rudy Gobert, C. Min, $7,400 DraftKings, $8,200 FanDuel.